On our WMAL Newsmaker Heartline, joining us right now is Aaron Katersky from ABC News. Of course, he has been our man with the Boston Marathon terrorist attack since the day it happened, literally the day it happened. And Aaron Katersky, thanks for joining us this morning.
A pleasure, Larry. Good to be here. This is the latest involves three friends of Johar Tsarnaev, the surviving marathon bomb suspect who's locked at a federal prison at Devens, Massachusetts, and now three of his best buds from college are also locked up behind bars, charged with interfering with the investigation.
And Aaron Katersky, I remember vividly having you on. I think it was about 2 days after the bombing as the investigation was moving forward, and you broke the news here that the FBI was planning on, later that day, releasing the photos of the gentlemen that they believed were the suspects in the bombing. And the whole purpose was that hopefully people, friends, or classmates, or people who knew these guys would come forward and say, oh, I recognize them. So tell us what happened when these classmates actually did recognize the suspects.
Well, instead these guys were shocked. They said, hey, that looks like our friend. And instead of calling authorities, so one of them texted Johar Tsarnaev, according to court records, and said, you look like the guy we just saw on television. And the reply came back, LOL. Oh. And I'm leaving. Go to my room, take whatever you want.
LOL, of course, for those of you who don't text yet, that means laugh out loud, and that is just chilling. It is absolutely chilling to hear that, Aaron.
And it really shows the degree to which the Tsarnaev brothers hid their plans from even close friends. According to classmates and others we've spoken to, these guys were tight, and they've been seen in photos huddled together in Times Square. But the friends, according to the FBI affidavit, had no idea that their friend was planning anything like this. Although a month before the attacks, one of them mentioned to the FBI that Johar Tsarnaev had said, "Yeah, I know how to make a bomb." What the context of that conversation was, or whether the friend at the time thought anything of it, the court documents don't make clear. But these friends were shocked to learn that it was their classmate, their close friend that was involved with these bombings, and thinking that it would help keep him out of trouble. The FBI says the friends went into his dorm room, took a backpack that contained fireworks, and also took a laptop, and decided to throw those things in a dumpster.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, one of these guys had a car, as I understand it, a BMW, and the front license plate said Terronista?
Yeah, that was widely photographed when these guys were first detained on immigration problems. Two of the friends are from Kazakhstan and were here at UMass Dartmouth on student visas, and they were at first detained for immigration problems. Apparently, they weren't going to class regularly, and that's a violation of student visa policy. So in some ways, authorities have been a little bit suspicious of these guys from the start, but they've also been trying to run them down as close friends of the the surviving suspects. So they've been detained on immigration violations. Now they're formally arrested and charged with offenses that could get them up to 5 years in prison.
Now, Aaron Katersky, there's also been a lot of discussion over the past week about the mother of the Tsarnaev brothers. Of course, she is overseas now, back in Russia, but she gave a heck of a press conference there. That video went everywhere, of course. And there's also discussion and questions about Catherine Russell, who is the widow of Tamerlan Tsarnaev. What do you know about those two investigations?
Well, the mother has been a focus for whatever role she may have played in helping her son become more devout Muslim. Now, she says that's all it was, helping him become more devout. There are questions as to whether she helped push him toward a more radical view. But the mother's been interviewed already by American embassy officials in Russia, and whether they find her to be at all culpable, we so far no. Catherine Russell, his Tamerlan Tsarnaev's widow. What's important right now for the investigation is comparing her DNA to female DNA that was found on some of the bomb fragments, because that would help narrow down and convince authorities, whether she had anything to do with the bombings themselves. Right now, they don't think she did, but they've been questioning her for what she may know about his motives and movements. Catherine Russell's family has said that she had shocked as anybody else, and apparently didn't know Tamerlan Tsarnaev the way they thought they did, and her lawyer says she's been cooperative.
Have there been any new developments in the attempt to find out what Tamerlan was doing overseas during that time period?
Well, there's certainly been an effort to retrace his steps over 6 months in Russia last year. And we've learned that he had been in contact either in person at a mosque in Dagestan or via a Russian social network with known militants. And the extent of those meetings or conversations isn't exactly known, but it's thought that he met with a militant recruiter at a mosque, and then a Russian-Canadian militant, someone he was in touch with on a Russian social network. So there clearly was some association there, but whether that meant he received any kind of training or whether that meant they simply put ideas in his head, that hasn't been made clear.
All right, Aaron Katersky from ABC News, thank you so much for joining us this morning and continuing to be such a wealth of information as this story continues to unfold.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks.